Yeah, I want to go over an axe and machete sharpener, basically based off the old knife sharpener. And I know a lot of people criticize these because they say, oh, they tear up your blade. Well, they also have, it's not this I'm talking about. It's actually based off this design, but larger. But just to give you an idea, this works off of, works on the knives. And you have the carbide steel bit type side right here. And here you have the ceramic for fine tuning. So if you just want to touch up the blade, you can use the ceramic. And it does a fine job. It still does a fine job. I know a lot of people criticize these, but you know, I've had this knife for like 45 years. God. Yeah, whatever. It's going to wear out one of these days. Buffalo Skinner made in Germany. With a bone handle on it. I think it's a bone handle. But same kind of principle, except this, it's right out of the box, leave it in there. And it's small. But instead of, it has a different angle on it. That's the difference. See, this is designed for a knife blade, and this is designed for an axe and machete. I've used this on a machete also, but this would be a little more proper. And the other thing is, it's a hell of a lot easier to hold when you have it in your hand like this versus this. What I've done with this a lot of times is I put this in a vise, or I made it, I put some nails around it in wood and stuck it in there, and then I drew the blade through it rather than even holding it down. But it does a very good job on it. Now this, you can actually put this and hold it down and clamp this down this way, or and then put the machete through it, or the axe. But it's pretty easy to hold in your hand, and this is something that's super lightweight. It's plastic, it's very strong, and it even has, I don't think this steel brush is really needed for anything, but it has a steel brush in it right here in the handle. And so, for instance, if you got debris on it near the edge that you're not on the axe or the machete that you got to clean off before you try to sharpen it, you could do it with this little brush. I guess this brush could come in handy for some other things too. I don't know what, but I guess it's another tool you can have out in the field if you have this. To me, this is very worthwhile to have out in the field. Okay, so here we got an old machete. This is a cheap machete. Man, I had this a long time. I had this since the late 80s. So it's more than 30 years old. And I know people argue about, yeah, but you know, it's I think this is like $6. But you know, all you got to do is take this in your hand, and it's best to clamp the blade down. You know, if you clamp it down with a vise, but you can just go over it like that. And it puts the right angle on it. The point is that you got this guard for your hand. That's the thing I like about this versus trying to use this. I have used this, but I don't like using it because you've got to be careful. It doesn't really put the right edge on it, and this has a lot faster cutting. The other thing is you can use it for both a machete and you can use it for an axe. Actually, I got a couple more of these S-wings coming. Got the 16-inch camper axe, and also have the that's coming, and also have the machete coming. But this is a pretty sharp edge already. But yeah, you know, people are going to bitch about this isn't really use a stone, but it's not. Don't hold your breath freaking screwing up the edge on this with this. This is not. This is actually this is designed to put the right kind of edge on an axe or a machete. This is designed for a knife. And you know, for people to bitch about using the carbide blades, well, you take down what you need to first, the carbide blades, and then you have the ceramic. So it's, you know, some people want to have the stone, fine, you have the stone, but to me this is fast. This is much faster. And as far as practicality is, You know, if you're chopping with this thing a lot, and I used to chop with this thing a real lot. Back when I used to take this out when I was in the field in the military. Yeah. I weren't supposed to, but I did. You know, wasn't really authorized, but I did anyway. I used to take it out hunting too. But actually, to tell you the truth, I'll just add a little tip on here. What works better than this is, you know, if you're cutting down brush, depends on what kind of brush you're cutting. I'll show you what it is. Yeah, actually this would be the better tool to have cut out some brush, because like if you cut out a branch, it's in a way, you just snip it. But it weighs more, and it's bigger. It's bigger than the machete, and it weighs a lot more. That's the thing that's wrong with it. But it depends on how far you got to go. If you're going for a lot of miles, you might not want to take this. I don't know. Depends. It all depends. But this can be a hell of a lot faster than this. Just want to add that in there. But you know, I like this. This tool doesn't weigh nothing, and it doesn't take up any room, and it's real easy to use. It's pretty damn safe to use because your hand is protected when you're going across the axe or the machete. And one thing that could save you a hell of a lot of work is the blade being sharp, right? And this does have the correct. It's designed strictly for axe and machete. It's not a knife sharpening tool, but you know, if you got a really dull knife and you got nothing out there to freaking use it on, you know, you can use that too. I mean, it'll work. But yeah, man, as far as these S-Wing products go, I got this one, got the 26-inch camper axe. And what sold me on those S-Wing products is I have something from years ago in the shed here. God, it was my great uncle's. This. That's an S-Wing. I think it's about 60 years old. I used the hell out of it. I used it for a good 40 years. More than that. So, then when I found out they're made in the United States and they're still making them, I didn't even realize what the hell that thing was until I found out what it was. I said, I'm going to buy some more. So I got this one, I got the camp axe, I got the 16-inch, the 26-inch camp axe, I got the 16-inch camp axe coming on the way. And I'm also getting the X-Wing machete. And yeah, this thing will cut pretty good right now. I'll just give you a quick demonstration on it. I like this because I use this a lot, and with this friction tape on here, it's been on here a million years, especially if you're wearing leather gloves, you can really swing it good. Okay, I'm trying on this brace right here. Usually do it at a little slight angle, and I hold it like that. Usually works a little more wrist action. Yeah, not quite. This is oak, by the way. You know, the thing is, it's flexing. When it flexes, it doesn't cut. If this was against something, it would have chopped it in one shot. If it was against a log. Yeah, that's the problem when you're cutting out in the field. You're not cutting against something. Like if let's see, take this. Yeah. That'll probably work a lot better right there. Not quite against here, but it should work pretty much good. It's not kind of a lightweight baby, so used to use it a lot, and it is sharper. But I bet you the S-Wing machete, it's got some heft to it. It works like an axe. Get that. This was about $5, but I did use this a lot. It's not too bad for what it is. And considering I've owned it for 30-something years, actually keep it on my Jeep. Used to keep it on my Jeep. Well, this is my quote-unquote Jeep. Actually, it's a Suzuki SJ413 pre-Samurai 1.3 engine. it sticks right in here. So it's in there tight, and actually I used to use a boot band to hold the handle in there a little bit better on the handle, but it pretty much sticks in there really tight. And the other thing is, I actually want to say, because like that was a pretty bad demonstration of how that thing was cutting. If you have standing reeds or saplings and you're cutting down on an angle like that, they cut pretty damn easy. You cut them near the base, they'll cut pretty easy. Just get down there like this. They'll cut because there's something attached to the ground and you're coming in on an angle. But that other tool, like I pointed out, the tree trimmer, the branch trimmer, it's twice as big and twice as heavy. That'll work a lot better though. So just want to point that out as a quick tip, because it's probably about, I don't know, probably 15% of the effort is using that thing, that the actual tree trimmer thing. But I want to see how that S-wing comes in when I get it, because now I got the tool to sharpen it. And like I said, that's a special tool for axes and machetes. Had a lot of good reviews on it, and it seems to work very well. Put a real quick edge on here. It's very sharp. Got the right angle versus a type that's made for the knife. It's made for the axe and the machete.